Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of Harakiri, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Blades of Honor. From what I understand, Harakiri means that it was like the ritualistic, it's the word for the ritualistic disemboweling practiced by Japanese samurai. And so that's a really wonderful glimpse into what we're expecting in this game, maybe, I don't know. But I'm super excited to do an unboxing of this. This is a game I have been waiting for after the Kickstarter finished. In full disclosure, this was sent to me by Synergetic Games. I do actually have an all-in Kickstarter pledge coming, but I was gracious enough to have them send me a copy so that I could not only do this unboxing, but have it learned and ready to go for when people start getting their copies. They'll have these videos available for them to be able to watch, to understand and learn how to play these games and see what you get inside of the Kickstarters when they start coming to you. This is I can't remember what pledge it is, but it does come with the base game. I do also have the miniatures that are going to be coming with it. This does not have any of the pre-painted things from what I understand, and it also has the two expansions that were part of the thing, Jubet's Curse and also the Wrath of the Gods. So we're going to dig into all of this and see what's in store for us. And if you're excited to see what is inside Harakiri, the Blades of Honor, a full-in Kickstarter, I believe it's pretty close to full-in. I know it doesn't have like some of the playmats or some of the add-ons, but we're going to get to all this, see what's inside, and if you're excited to do that, then I need you to meet me at the table. Before we dig into the box, I do want to mention this is for ages 14 up. It lasts about an hour or two and maybe a little bit more than that, depending on the actual mission you're on inside the quest. This is an overarching campaign-driven tabletop game. This does take place in feudal Japan, so I'm really excited about that. I really like that theme a lot. It's one of my favorite themes to play inside of, so I'm excited to dig into this. In this particular game, we're going to be trying to free Japan from a dark shogun. He's right there. Ooh, look at him. Spooky. We'll have to deal with this guy, I'm sure, at some point in time. Now, this game does have two different phases in it, which I believe you could play and then pack up and bring out for the second phase. So if you did want to break it up into smaller increments, you totally could. But I believe going through both of those would take a couple hours from what I understand. There is an adventure narrative phase, which is going to be the first part of it. And then there's kind of a strategic exploration phase where you're going to be doing more of the battles and strategic combat in the game. Let's dig into this box and see what we can find this and see what we see here. The first thing we have is we have some player boards and a lot of cards. These are the different player boards that we're going to have, I believe. I'll put those aside and we'll look at those in a second. We'll dig into all of the cards that we have as well. Now, I'm not going to be spoiling any of the story is my goal. Of course, I may be showing off a couple of the cards so you can understand exactly what you're going to be seeing when you get into the game. Here's going to be all the cardboard and punch boards, so we're going to take a look at all of those. Next, we have our map. Like I said, one of the phases is going to be the adventure phase, and you're going to be moving along on this particular map. This map does fold out into, it's double-sided. It also folds out into multiple things. Plus, on top of it, like I said, there's more of like a combat-orientated part of the game as well, which is I believe the exploration phase, what they call it. But you're going to be moving around on this, and as you're moving through this, you're going to be exploring the world and trying to complete quests and things, and of course, try to stop that dark shogun. That's going to be the overall plan. Now, of course, all these different cities are going to have different things you can do while you're there, and things are probably going to unlock through the narrative that tells you where to go and how to go about it. Now, of course, all the different characters that play in this game are going to have their own stats for speed and attack and things of that nature that you're going to be using on this map to uncover what's there. And as you travel through here, you're going to be dealing with some of the cards that are going to go with it, and I'll show maybe one or two of those as we get through this unboxing. But do know this map is huge, and it's going to be super fun to explore all these places. So here we are. We continue on with another small punch board. These are going to be the tokens for the 4 different clans that are in this game. This game is going to be played up to 4 players, and if you're playing with less than 4, you do still have to use the 4 players. So a true solo game does make you play with all 4 of the characters because the whole story revolves around all 4 of those people in the narrative. So that doesn't bother me. I love it. I'm super excited to see how this all plays out. We have our 2 rule books here, the adventure book, and then we have the exploration phase book, and we have a card here that'll tell you exactly how to go through each of these. And of course, the rules themselves are going to be very in-depth onto how to go through each of the 2 different phases of the game. Continuing on, we do have our two different acts. So both Act 1 and Act 2 are in here. We're going to just kind of, well, these are the two acts. These are the two adventure books. Look how big they are. They're absolutely huge. That's going to be awesome. Again, we'll quickly look at some of the punch boards. Before we go too much further, there's a couple things I do want to mention. One, if you are looking for another playthrough of this, you can check out Paul Grogan over at Gaming Rules did a live play, and it was really good, so go check that out when you get a chance. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. Also, at the time of this recording and posting this video, this game is now on Gamefound. At the time of this recording, they were part of the Gamefound feast, so please go check out the Gamefound. I'll make sure to put a link to it in the description of this video. Please go check it out and see what you think. And then let's continue on with what I have here. Like I said before, these are our clans. These are the different head tokens. So as you defeat enemies and even the bosses in the game, you're going to gain head tokens that then you can sell later on in the game for money. We have camp tokens here. These are going to be all the different, I believe it's going to be like mission tokens. These are doors that we're going to be using while we go to the exploration phase and being able to find and destroy those evil bosses and some of the minions that this person has. On the back, they are double-sided, so they do have different things on the back, at least some of them do. For example, these now the camp have become horde tokens. These are going to be able to show the pictures of the different characters from those clans on the back of these. And of course, they go from 1 to 3 heads, so if you have more than 3, you can just flip it over and you're good to go. So that's the first one. Then we're going to go on to some of the rest of the punch boards here. These are going to be, there's some map tiles that we're going to be seeing. Of course, these map tiles are double-sided as well. Here we have tokens that are going to be used for interactions, and on the back they're going to be cut paths. So when you're on that big giant map moving around, it may sever an ability to go down a certain road, and you're going to put that tile on it to not let you be able to continue on down that road. We have karma tokens that are going to be both 1 and 3 sided. We have all our different damage tokens here, and then we have our action point tokens. Every character is going to get a certain amount of action points that they're going to use during their turn, may it be to move or interact with other parts of the map, or of course being able to use some of their powers and attacks and things of that nature. On the back side, it shows that when you've used that, you can flip it over. I think that is really all that's on this particular map tile, except for, of course, we do have our round token down here as well. We'll set that one aside. And a lot of the other ones you see are going to be very similar to that one. Again, 2 new map tiles here, double-sided again as usual here. Some of the smaller tokens we see on this one are going to be our ally tokens. We also have captured or raised cities, depending on what side of the thing you have there for you. We also have the different condition tokens right down here for yourself. Then we have blessed tokens here, and again, more action tokens. And of course, these are going to be double-sided with having more of them. If you have more than them, you can just flip it over and use it. We're going to continue on with more map tiles, and of course, some of these smaller tokens as well. We have 2 more places that we can fight. So there's a lot of different places where we're fighting and having to deal with some of our enemies. Again, we have our action tokens down here. We have our blessed tokens. These are charge tokens. So if you have something that has a certain amount of charges, these will be how you will denote that. During the game, you may have to have a token that's going to be giving you or removing armor from your particular character, or of course from the enemy. These are all resistance tokens. They're on the 1 and 3, depending on what you need, 1 or 3 resistance. These are the different coins. There's a 25 coin token here. The other thing we have here is going to be, I'll have to check and see what this one is. They are the bleeding condition is what these tokens are. We'll move that one aside, go on to the next one. Again, more coins here. Then we also have coins down here. Again, 2 new map tiles. We'll flip those over to the other side, which is kind of neat. Looks like a whole little marketplace going on here inside of this game. Then we have some objective tokens and spawn tokens down here, and of course they are double-sided. So they're not only going to be special objective tokens, they also could become special tokens as well. And then we have 1 coin down there, so you got looks like 1, 5, and 25s. Maybe there'll be some 10s coming up here, or maybe not. We'll continue on. This map pretty much fell right out. We have a nice little campsite here. It actually looks like it's inside of a house. Then again, more coins here. This is going to be our main board here. It's one of our main boards. This is the Shogun's influence track right here. If at any point during the game it gets to 12 during one of your missions, that is going to signify really bad. It's going to be bad news. I believe that's a failure then when you get all the way there. So you have to try to make sure you get to it by then. It is sectioned off into 3 spots, which is going to make things a little bit more difficult or easier depending on where you are in this during the game. We'll move on to our, I think we're getting real close. We have one or two more left. Here's a giant board right here. Flip it over, nice huge board. And then we have two of our characters that we could potentially be playing with as we go through it. Now, I don't believe all the characters unlock at the beginning, and some of them might unlock as you play through the game, that you'll be interacting and learning about all these different people. But what you see on this particular card, you're just going to see their health value right here. So it starts at 10 or 8, depending on which character you're using here. Then as they increase in power, their health stats will be going up. This shows what kind of class they are right here. And so this person is, I believe, a monk type character, and this is going to be more of a fighter or samurai type character. I'd have to dig into it to see exactly what we have. Then we have 3 other characters here, and then we have all the different skills that these characters can learn as they go through the game. And again, here's some of the characters you can be or be able to meet as you go through the game. They are double-sided, so it does show you a little bit more about the characters on the back side here. And I'm not exactly sure what those are. We'll have to figure those out as we play through the game here. But these are going to be the miniatures, and yes, this game does come with miniatures, and they probably look absolutely fabulous. I can't wait to look at them. But these do pop out, and like I said before, as you can see, this one's going to start with like 9 health, and as they go forward, they're going to be gaining more health as they go. Looking again quickly at the character cards, not only do you have those health, these also show the different clans they're from, and these are going to actually just show, I believe, what they're kind of known for. For example, this one is power, this one is spirit. I know I said it was a monk class, but I believe it's a spirit class type thing. This is going to be more for knowledge. Now notice this guy can't see because he's got the blindfold on. That's pretty awesome. More power, and then this one's built more on dexterity, and I believe that's kind of what you're going to be thinking about when it comes to how the class is going to interact. Now, of course, they're all going to gain different skills as they go, which is going to change how they play, and depending on kind of what the skills they get, and they're going to be able to be successful in certain things depending on what you decide to do. There's, of course, one more set of boards here that again has an entire set of skills, dual-sided, and of course 3 more characters here that of course have different affinities or type things that they're probably pretty good at when it comes to the type of character they are. So that is really all there is for the punch boards. We got those out. I'm going to unpunch all that and get them into the box. Now that's not all the punch boards we have. We also have the full player board here for our characters. And underneath here, we're going to have some more books for our characters, a few things here, and some more cards to quickly look at. And oh my gosh, look at all this stuff down here. It's absolutely awesome. The first thing we have here is 4 player books for the 4 different characters that you normally are going to be playing with, which is kind of cool. I believe each one's going to have their own story that unfolds as you play through the game. I'm not going to read or spoil any of this. I'll let you see how that goes as you play through it. Quickly showing you kind of how one of these player boards work, which is pretty cool. You're going to have your little this is going to fit right into here, and then all these are recessed, so you can actually move. These cubes are going to fit in here nicely and move up and down. Now this, of course, is your level track. This is your health track here. So, for example, this guy would start on level 11, so you put that there. Depending on what these skills or abilities this character has, we're going to be putting in different cubes to signify those. Here's an affinity based on, I believe, a particular type of Kami card, I believe is what they call them, that you're going to be having something that goes along with your character. This game does, I believe, have a fail forward system, so if you do fail, you do get to keep going forward. These are where the 5 different skills you're eventually going to get. These are recessed in, so they're all going to fit in there nicely. Then, of course, when you decide to save your game, you just take one of the tray tops here, put it right in here, and you're good to go. I believe it just kind of fits like that. Ta-da! And our character is then going to be able to set into the box, and then when I pick him up again, he can be shuffled all over the place. It's not going to matter. Nothing's going to fall out. And we're ready to go. We just pop this off and play again with our character when we go to the next set of adventures. Next, I quickly wanted to show you one of the monsters here, kind of the minions. This is a Tengu. I believe this is one of the first monsters you're going to fight. I could be wrong about that, but it's the first one on the stack, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm not going to show any of the boss monsters, even though you're kind of in the box that you could have kind of seen, but I'll let you decide, see those on your own. We're just going to give you a quick overview of what you're seeing here. You're going to see the health, the speed, the range, the armor, or no, this is not armor. This is the defense, and this is the armor of this particular enemy. These down here, I believe, is how you're going to denote which ones are which on the board based on, you'll be putting like red, purple, or green rings. They do have these in the game. Now, these are not in this box, and either are these red cubes. I had to go to the miniatures box to get these. These are not actually in the base box here, but I believe you get both boxes. You're going to have all that with you. Of course, all the dice you didn't see either. The dice are also found in the miniatures box as well. So actually, because I was a little concerned, I was like, well, how am I supposed to set up the player board when I don't see the cubes? They were inside the miniatures box. So if you're looking for those and wondering why they're not in this main box, that's because they're in the miniatures box. Open that up, you'll find all those extra components. These are going to be all the different things this monster could particularly do. For example, winged, its movement is considered flying. Then it has different attacks here. Then these are going to be based on, I believe, a die roll here. It's going to decide what it's going to do, if it's a normal or aggressive monster. And on top of that, not only that, this monster can also be a harder difficulty on the back. It has a more difficult version of itself on the back, which is kind of cool. So it has different aggression levels, or different, it has like normal and aggressive type stances. And these again are going to be, I believe, the different colors of these again on the side, denoting which ones are which on the map. I could be wrong about that. I'll have to dig into the rules a little bit more to understand that. Not to mention, I'll have to learn all of this different types of iconography that you're seeing here. But this looks really cool. I like the art on these. These look really neat. Super excited. I can't wait to dive in. Looking at some of the cards in here, I'm going to do my best not to spoil a lot of stuff, but I do want to show off some of the art and kind of how these cards and they're going to function as you play through the game. So we have our initiative cards here with some of the hero art on here. Then we also have some of course, our enemies. We have our Tengu again. Now notice it's that we have the different symbols that we saw on those enemy cards. Those are going to affect which ones go at what time, I believe. Now the way this works, of course, is you'll lay out, you'll deal these all out and then flip them all over. And then certain characters or enemies may be able to manipulate this initiative row as you go forward. So once it's set, different things are going to change it around, and then it becomes set, and then the first round begins. Keeping with the exploration phase, we do have a bunch of oracle cards. There are green and red. There's two different colors here. And that is going to be used to draw at the beginning and decide which way our character enemies are going to activate. So if we drew a green card, then of course we would be then rolling a die and dealing with this particular thing, where of course we draw the red card, which looks a lot worse. We'd roll the die, and depending from 1 to 3, it would try to do this. 4 to 6, I believe, it would try to do this. I think that's a really cool system. It keeps it fresh, and you never know exactly what the enemy is going to do. During your time of the exploration phase, there are 3 different types of enemies: Minion, Servant, and Chosen. Chosen actually have their own set of AI cards as well that you can use. I'm just going to show you one of these, and it's the one in the book that they use to demonstrate exactly what this is. So for example, this would be Retribution. What you're going to do is you're going to attempt to do one of these things going forward. And as soon as one of these can be fully met, then of course the card is done, it gets discarded. But if you can't do this one, you have to go to this one, and so forth and so forth. Finally, the third one would just be gaining certain points for this particular monster, and that of course would be the final one that it could do, and that would resolve this card, and it would go to the discard pile. Of course, when these cards are all done, you'll shuffle them, I believe, back up and make the deck again and more, and so you get to keep on continuing to have the fun of the monster. Next, we have 90 different exploration events that are going to take place. These are going to be that are going to be part of this. For example, you're going to take your card, you're going to find the one it tells you to. So like say we have SA1, which I believe is the first one we're going to be finding in the game. And we're going to slide it into this thing here. And that's going to cover up most of what's in this card. But you're going to be able to see the first part, which is going to be the first part you're going to deal with. Now, of course, I got to get this in the card. Like that. Once you get it in there, then so the first part you're in, you're just going to be able to see the first part. So you're in a forest, and the characters who end their activation adjacent to purple regen 1 health. So that's going to be part of that particular map. Then as you complete that one, you move into the next area of the game. You're going to uncover the next one, and so on and so forth. So you're not going to know what the rest of the card is because it's all covered up by this. I think this is a really neat little system, so you don't know what's coming in the future. The remainder of the cards are mainly going to be doing with the adventure phase, I believe, where you're going to be moving around the board and completing quests and stopping the evil shogun from thwarting, or you're trying to thwart his plans, I guess. There are different types of cards. There's ones that are going to be listed with letters, which are going to be kind of more overarching ones for the area for A, B, and C. Now, there also are ones that the game itself is going to tell you to put in. For example, when you're doing your first mission, it's going to tell you to put in cards number 1 through 7. So there's going to be one specific for that particular area of and what's going on in that adventure. Now, what these are is as you're moving around the board, if you move more than, I believe it's 2 spaces on the map, and you're mainly on the Imperial Road, you're going to be able to do the green side of this, which is going to be more of it's a better outcome more often than not, and it's not as difficult. For example, you'd read your flavor text here and you'd gain one of these, where sometimes these are going to have particular choices you have to make, but you're not supposed to read those. You have the person next to you read the card, and then you have to choose exactly which one you want to do based on the choices that are there. Or for example, if you're on the harder one, so you went off-road, and that's going to make it a more difficult challenge. Look at all these cards they have, the tons of them here. This one, for example, it will read a little flavor text here, and then you'd have to decide, were you stealthy? If not, you're going to have to deal with this consequence of this. So all the cards you're going to be drawing these every time you move around, if you, like I said, move more than 2 spaces, unless you move together. If you move together, that avoids these particular cards, which they could be good, they could be bad. Most of the time, I'm going to guess they're probably going to be bad. If it's going to be good, if it's going to be beneficial to not have to deal with them. As you're moving through the adventure phase, the evil shogun is also going to be doing things to you, and there are cards for that particular one based on what mission you're on. So for example, if we're in mission 1-1, our first mission here, these are going to be the cards we're going to use for that first mission, and they'll tell us probably to draw them during the game as we're moving forward based on where we are in the turn order or where we go throughout the game. So I'm not going to show any of these. Those are going to be I'm not going to show any of those because I won't spoil any of those. Next, we do have our different mission cards. There are about 51 different missions. Of course, everything has its own mission here. For example, these are the 1-1 missions here. We'll try to hide that too. It'll tell you a little bit about what's going on right here. For example, this one says to travel to the Haikoni, I apologize if I'm saying it wrong, to gather information about the attack. So we'd have to get there on the map by moving and trying to avoid different things on the map. Once we do, we can maybe try to take advantage of how to beat that mission. And we'll flip over the card and see what we have to do. Now, of course, a lot of those cards might have to tell you on the card what it is, or you might be going to the storybook itself to read what happens when you get to those particular mission points, or even some of the Shogun cards as well. As the game progresses, you might be putting out some special locations that are going to have things happen to you. Then we have also some item cards and for the blacksmith and the market. As you stop at different places, you'll be able to find stuff from the blacksmith. For example, here's some of this is like the starting armor for some of our characters here. Our monk, for example, would get this particular armor. It shows an armor value up here. You could only ever have one armor. You could sell your armor back. You can sell back any of your cards, but of course you can only sell them for half. But each starting class is going to get something a little bit different. So this person gets an extra movement inside their clan region. This one is allowing you to put more cubes back in your supply. This person is allowed to gain +1 money when working. This one does give you 2 defense, where these are only going to give you 1. So, and then of course, as you go through, you'll be able to draw new ones and get new armor or weapons as you go through the game. There are different weapons, of course, as well. I'm sure these are some of the starting weapons here that you're going to have for your particular characters, hunting bows and things like that. So you'll be able to get these. There's a ton of different cards in here for the market for that. Then of course we also, the blacksmith. Then we have our market cards as well. Again, a ton of these things. For example, here's one of them. We could find potentially sake. It's worth 5. You could buy it for 5, or maybe find it and you can sell it for half of the value. You can use it as a consumable, as you can see, gaining 2 health points back, which is good. And there's some other ones in here. There's again more sake and things of that nature. There's a grasshopper spell, which gives you +2 movement spells as you go through. Here's one that you can reroll 1 die, excluding, I believe, a black die, it looks like. So we'll have to see how that all transpires and what's good for it. Of course, there's a whole ton of these in here. Tons of cards in the market. The final set of cards I have are called, I believe they're called Kami cards. I could be wrong again about the pronunciation. These are going to be like a spirit that goes with these characters throughout their adventure that they're going to have on the, and once you pick this, you get this for the entire act. And what these are going to do is, as you become more affinity bonds with these particular things, you're going to gain certain skills. You can look at these. I don't think there's any reason you can't. Depending on what your affinity is, it's going to be able to give you certain powers. So if you start at number 1, the Holy One, you can regain 3 when interacting with sanctuaries. That could be something because of you are working with this particular deity. Where say I'm working with this one, this person is going to give me 9-tailed fox. I would get an extra movement here, and that's if you're working with this affinity to this particular spirit or character, I believe, like a spirit type. Yes, a spirit. I'll just go with a spirit. I'll go with spirits. Now, of course, as your affinity grows, you're going to be getting more skills that you can use with the Kami cards. Now, of course, as our separate from the skills that you're going to have on your character. So these are a cool way to really make the characters different as you go through the game. Now, like I said, once you pick this, these are going to be with you for the whole act. Of course, there may be something in the story that all of a sudden switches this up for you, but from how I understand from the character creation, these are going to be with you for the whole act. For example, you could have this particular dude. This dude looks awesome. Traveler Shield. You can reduce the damage received from travel enemies by 1. And that's, of course, if you have the 1 affinity, then 3 and 6 are going to go up. Now, some of these are used during the exploration phase. Some are used during the adventure phase, so it all depends. But each one of these, I believe, does have abilities that are going to be used for at least each of the different phases. It just depends on where they're going to fall in the infinities. All right, we'll put those aside. Now, I do want to show, I do get questions a lot every once in a while, would sleeve cards fit in, if I sleeve these, would it still fit in here? And here, I'll let you decide if that is the case or not. I think if you use thin sleeves, I think these small cards would all fit in here. And the thick sleeves, I think, would even work with these because I believe these two sections here also work. But of course, you could put these here. So I don't see any problem sleeving all this without any problem. These smaller cards can fit in these two areas, and the big cards can fit in all of this. So there's some extra room if you decide to sleeve all of your cards. That's everything that's inside the core box, of course, except for the few things I pulled out of the miniatures box, which I think we're going to check out next. The next box we're going to take a look at is going to be that miniatures box. Now, I believe this also doubles as part of your storage for the game as well. We'll take off the cover and see the awesome looking miniatures that are probably going to be inside here. There's going to be a ton of them, I'm sure. So like I said previously, when I was doing the unboxing of the core game, you're going to find some of your components right down here. You're going to find your custom dice that are going to be used for rolling. And interestingly, let's see if I can get these out of here. Their number systems on these are really cool because they're all super custom dice here. But you're going to roll these dice and you're going to add up numbers. And the numbers are going to be these little dashes in here. So that's a 1, that's a 3. This is going to also be a number die too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 based on what the points you see on the dice, which is kind of cool. So it has a neat way of doing kind of a D6 concept. So we'll put those aside. We also have these are going to be, I believe, used, another set of D6s. They can be used for tracking things and also rolling dice. We have seen these red cubes. These are going to be on our miniatures when it comes to the different colors that we're going to be using for them. Normally, I don't use these, but for this game, I think they're going to be something we're going to need to use. We'll put this stuff aside. Now, here's some of the miniatures. These are very much the minions of the miniatures you're going to see because there are a lot of them. So I'm sure these are going to be the minions, but these are pretty detailed for being just minions. I mean, there's a lot of detail on the back of this guy. I think it'll be really cool to try to paint these up. Here are some of the heroes. This is the archer hero. I forget the name. I apologize. This is that character right here. We have some really cool art going on, or sculpt going on, so it'll be fun to paint this up. We have a few of the other ones. I think this is again, I apologize. I don't remember the names looking when I went through them just so fast. This is that one guy who wears the headband, I believe. That's that character right there. Here looks like it's going to be that one that's based on dexterity. This character right here, again, the sculpts are pretty detailed. Look at how detailed that the robe that this guy is wearing, and all the different chains and padding and knives and stuff on his legs there. That's pretty awesome. And even the bases do have some thing on them, so you don't have to base these. They are already based, so it's just a matter of kind of painting up the bases. You see, as you can see, she's standing on a tree trunk tree there, which is kind of cool. All right, so that is the first one. Again, there's all different kinds here. I mean, there's even evil samurais, I'm sure, run by the shogun or possessed by the shogun or something. Here they are right here. You've got some cool looking armor we'll be able to paint up, but there are a ton of these small little things, so we're going to go through them. Here they go. That's the first one. Look again, there's so many. We'll look at one of these big sets of miniatures here. This one's on one of these clear bases, so it's supposed to look like it's floating on above the ground here. That looks pretty awesome. I mean, this thing, just imagine painting this up like all red and then like evil. Oh, it's going to be super cool. Then let's see what else we have. Looks like we have this giant here. This looks absolutely amazing. It's like an Oni or something. Again, don't know what we're going to be fighting or when we're going to be fighting what, but we do have a whole ton of things that we're going to be dealing with. Here looks like a monkey snake thing. Again, I apologize. I don't know a lot of the lore that goes behind the game either, though I'm sure it is rooted a lot in the Japanese lores and stuff, and I don't know a lot about it. I apologize. Let's see. We're going to grab, well, these are actually coming off first. Okay, there we go. We have a few of the, I think these are also some more of the heroes that we may encounter as we play through the game. But then again, we've got some some guys who have two giant swords above their head ready to kill me. That looks absolutely pretty amazing here. I do like the fact, I like the like robe concepts here and all that they can put on. This could be really cool. All right, we're gonna paint those up and look absolutely awesome. Let's continue on here. Now, of course, if you're interested, I'll probably try to paint some of these up. I do live painting videos, usually about once a week if I get a chance to, so please feel free to check those out. Join me during some live sessions and you can see how I paint up some of these miniatures and we can get them to the table super quick. This is one that's not going to be super quick. Look at this guy. This is the giant Shogun. Let's see if I can get him out. Oh my gosh, he's tied down. He's tied down. I can't just rip him out. So we're gonna have to get this guy out his own special way. But there's one of the that might be a hero. No, I don't think it's a hero. I don't think any of these are heroes. These are all probably real bad guys here. I mean, who knows? This could be an ally that joins you on a steed. I highly doubt this is a hero. I have a strong suspicion this is not a hero. Oh my gosh, it's like a bug type creature. Of course it's a bug type creature. I hate bugs. All right, put that one back. We're gonna pull this out. Oh, and here's the Tengu up here. These are the ones I think I showed I showed the monster card. So here's the miniatures that go along with it. Oh, these look absolutely awesome. Look at these. These are like flowing through the wind. These are like a skeletal type creature. Wow, floating above this. It's not even, it's above, it's kind of floating through this, like, it kind of uses this just a little bit to support it. That's pretty awesome. All right, put those aside. I'm gonna get that miniature out of there in just a second. Let's see what else we got. And these are gonna be some more big miniatures. Oh my gosh, look at this guy. This is like one of those multi-tailed foxes. I know that's in the lore of the game, I'm sure. What's this? There's a creature on here that kind of looks like Nick. No, it can't be. All right, we'll put that person back. Let's see what else we got. What's this? This looks awesome. Wow, what is this guy? It's just a giant demon on the thing. That's awesome. Now, of course, I'm sure some of you guys can help me out and tell me exactly who a lot of these people are rooted in the lore of that they come from. But again, sorry, I apologize. Don't know a lot about these. Now, let's look at that other huge miniature. Here it is right here. I mean, this thing stands, I mean, this is my hand on it. I mean, it's the size of my hand. This thing is out of control. Look at this thing. It's so cool. Oh my gosh. And it's got all this armor to be able to paint on this thing. It's totally detailed and sculpted all the way around with a cool looking base that it's on too. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Okay, that looks really, really awesome. On the back here, on the bottom, they do have some more, like I said, I think you can use this for storage. And I think this might actually hold, maybe, I don't know what that holds. It's got a whole indentation here. Oh, that's where where the bottom of this sits. It sits inside here. Okay, that makes sense. But this could be used for some storage for some of the cardboard components of the game. But then, yeah, this is gonna fit right back in here. And those things are what I saw back there. Okay. That makes a ton more sense. So we're gonna box this up, get this ready, get this out of here, and then we're gonna look at some of the expansions that go along with the game. But as you can see, there's an astronomical amount of miniatures that are gonna be going with this game. I can't wait to get some of these painted and get this to the table. This is gonna be super, super cool. All right, now let's check out the 2 expansions we have that go along with this game. Here's the first of the expansions we're going to take a look at. This is the one about the curse. Let's take a look and see what's inside. I'm sure it's going to have a big old book and all this stuff. Yes, it does. This is going to be the book that's going to go along with this particular expansion. We have a character that it's Jubet is going to be the character in this. 15, 16, 17, 18, and 20 health. So as this person levels up, those are what they're going to get. Here are the skills that go along with it. We have do not open. Okay, we will not open that. We have an enemy. Well, don't know what that's going to be about. Looks like we have some cards. Then we have some boxes. Oh my gosh. So there's some secret components to this. That's kind of cool. So here's the secret components. We're obviously not going to look at those. Those are going to be secret. Character miniature is going to be in here, I'm sure, as well. They have a few cards that go along with it. Some market cards. And then we also have, I'm going to guess, the initiative deck cards. And we're also going to have the AI cards for some of the major monsters that go along with this. There's 3 miniatures in the box. Here's the first one. Look at this guy. This guy looks super cool. Love it. And then this one's out of control. This one's huge. Look at this thing. And look at all these skulls that are behind this guy. He's riding in with a chariot made of skulls, it looks like. Oh my gosh, it's pretty awesome. It's got this boar in front of it. That's a really cool sculpt. Then of course we have the hero that comes with this particular one. Now that's him. He's got his whole samurai sword and everything ready to go, his katana. There we go. That guy looks pretty awesome. Now this particular expansion, I'm going to look at some of the cards here, from what I understand, is a solo expansion. So this is an interesting solo experience. And also on top of that, the character in this game, Jubet, actually starts at level 5 from how I understand it. There is a few scenarios in this book that can be supplemented into the core game in Acts 1 and 2 from what I understand. And you can use some of the cards for some of the market cards, for example, and things like that. You can implement into the core game as well, as long as they're not like character specific or it says you can't do it. So that's kind of cool that you can incorporate them, but also you get a standalone experience. So the first thing we have is all the scenario cards that are going to go with this particular adventure. And this adventure is a little bit different because there actually isn't an adventure phase. There's no adventure phase. It just continues through the exploration phase and then kind of a rest period, exploration phase, rest period. So if the adventure phase really didn't hook you in the original campaign, you might really enjoy this one because it's really just exploration phase after exploration phase. But it has all these things that are going to be associated with the exploration phase. It even has a rage meter here. This, I believe, is going to be like his, I believe it's called a Kami card. And again, if I could be pronouncing that incorrectly, that the other characters are able to choose from. I believe he just gets this one, is the character that has this. Now, this character is not compatible in the original core game because, like I said, he starts at level 5, which is already higher than them. And they do have all those different market cards, and you can use most of these in the core game, but like it says, this one says Jubei is special permanent, but the rest of them don't say that. The rest of them are just consumables and different permanents and things like that. So I believe the rest of these cards could be used in the original core game. Now again, we have our what do you call these, the initiative cards. Then on top of that, we do have some cards in the blacksmith. So this is Jubei's fugitive robes, so we wouldn't be able to put this into the core game. And of course this katana wouldn't be able to put in the game because it does have a character specific thing. Then we do have some cards for the AI that the some of the enemies we'll be fighting in the game have, and that's really it. Now I know I say that's it, but I mean this is a pretty big book just to play, and this is a, like I said, completely solo adventure, which I think is going to be pretty interesting. I love the fact that it's completely separate from the core game. So if I got done with the core game, and it's one of those things where I don't have to play the core game again to experience this content. It's just extra content I can do. With that, I'm going to go ahead and look at the next expansion. The next expansion is called The Wrath of the Gods. We'll see if this is also a standalone experience, or maybe you can add this into your other game. This one, Wrath of the Gods, does have its own, I guess it's going to have an instruction booklet, and then it does have its own campaign sheet as well that goes along with it, so its own campaign going on along with it. Here we are. We have some cards. We have our characters here, so there are 4 completely characters, I believe. Yes, there are. There are 4, all with their own skills that you can get. Here are the 4 different characters, and again, they do have the same type of symbols as some of the core game characters. It looks like there's 1 for each type of symbol here, along with, of course, the skills that go along with it. Oh my gosh, look at that thing right there. So again, the cool thing about this one is it is another standalone experience, but you can add some of the components to the core game, and it even says you can add some of these to the other expansions as well if you wish to. Let's dig into what is in this. We're going to have lots of cards we're going to look at. Of course, we're not going to show every card we can, and of course we're going to take a look at these miniatures, especially that guy right there. First thing I thought I'd show off some of the hero miniatures that we have. Now, this particular expansion is recommended to be played after, you know, Act 1, so be kind of in between those 2 acts if you wanted to make a bigger experience for yourself. This character right here, I believe, is Sun Wukong. I could be wrong on the pronunciation of these names. I apologize. We have a samurai type character. This is Mulan. Mulan is in the game here. We also have with us, I believe the name is Dali, which is this character here. This is one of the foxtails. And she has some of these fans, which is really neat. Continuing on here, this is going to be Guan Yue. That one I know I totally said wrong, and I apologize. That's this character right here. He looks really cool with that big long weapon there. I like that. Now, of course, we do have these. These are what are called sacred beasts. And from what I understand, the concept of this particular expansion is to locate and best these beasts is kind of, I believe, how it works. So we have like one based on like a turtle type concept here. Now, again, these all might be rooted in the actual mythos, but I don't know exactly which ones are which. We do have a Kaiju type character. I'm not going to get that one out. Oh, these 2 are wired in. All right, we'll have to get the wire off. These last two, we have a giant, look at this giant bird. This is absolutely awesome. I love the detail they did on these feathers. It looks so good. And then this dragon again, it's like the size of my hand. It's almost like that, the Shogun that we saw. Look at this thing and being able to, oh, I can hardly wait to paint something like this where it's just like this swirling awesomeness. I've painted something like this for Shadows of Brimstone before. I painted the dragon for that, and it was equally as tall and strong and awesome, which is super cool. So again, cool looking miniature. Let's dig into some of the cards now. Unlike the previous expansion, this one you can bring some of these into the other games. There's none in here that are actually based on a person's name or anything, so I believe these can all kind of come into the game. So these are their starting equipment, and they do start at level 3 from what I understand, so the stuff is a little more powerful than what we've seen from the other people that we started in the core game. So this is, for example, this is the Ronin one is Mulan's gear right here. This is going to be the character that has the fans and everything, so they do start with some of these, and they also are going to start with certain weapons back here. Mulan is going to start with the Magnolia Flower, which is the weapon she's going to use, and they got Wukong's Neobio. I'm sorry, I'm just going to stop saying words. Stop saying words. So there's the items. There you go. Super good. Now, these cards are the AI cards for the actual beasts, and they're the big cards. They're not those small ones like those other ones. So there's going to be a lot more going on in these AI cards that you would normally see. I'm not sure what those cards are. These are, oh, they're all still AI cards. These are all different AI cards for the beasts and maybe some other things that happen in the game. Now, I believe you also do need the core game to go along with this game. You can't, I don't think just this alone is going to be able to suffice. You do have to have some of the core components as well. Also, unlike the other expansion we looked at, this one does have an adventure phase, so there are quests and stuff we're going to be doing on the map going through it. Of course, we're starting at level 1, and you'll have quests that have to go along with that. So these are all the quest cards that go along with this particular expansion. On top of that, there is a big deck, just like the original core game, that has all of your events that you're going to be doing based on how far or how much you travel on the map and where, of course, you travel, because I've got the red and green ones. Now, these don't have an A, B, C from what I understand, so I believe they are all going to be placed in or be able to be used. It might tell you, oh, I'm guessing there's some that are probably going to be a little bit different. No, I think they're all just going to be used. They could all not be used. They could be used. Maybe it'll tell you specific ones that you're going to be making a deck out of. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how that goes if we ever play through this. And finally, we do have the beasts themselves. Again, I don't really want to show too much of this, but as you can see, they have like 40 health. So these are going to be kind of these bigger boss monsters, and there's an easy side and there's a harder side, I'm guessing, because this has 45 health. Now, I'm not digging into a lot of what the monster does and everything. You'll have to see all that on your own. Of course, you could pause the video and see it for yourself, but it's your call if you want to do that. So these are the 4 different monsters that come in this game. And like I said, you'll still need the core game as well, I'm sure, in order to play through it. Another thing I didn't mention from the previous one that I believe is the same is that if you notice, there is a lot of empty space in here, and there is a lot of space between the card and the divider or the actual insert, that you could sleeve all these cards without any problem and get them all back in the box. So this company did make this game with people that do sleeve their cards in mind as they went through. So there you have it. That is the Wrath of the Gods expansion, and from what I gather, I think that is about all I have. So that was the unboxing of Harakiri, which I'm super excited to get to the table. This, again, is a theme I'm really excited to try out and live in the world of for a while and experience the game that goes along with it. I would like to thank Synergetic Games, again, for giving me the opportunity to do this unboxing for you. We'll also be doing a playthrough, and then if you like what you see here, please check out the link to the Gamefound preview page that is located in the description of this video so that you can take advantage of the new Gamefound crowdfunding when it comes to be, and you can pick yourself up a copy of this game along with all the expansions, all the cool things that go along with it. So thank you again so much for watching. If you did like the unboxing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so we'll know when the playthrough for this comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. If you know about this game and are excited to get a hold of it, is this something new that you haven't heard of before but looks really interesting to you? I'd like to hear what you have to say in the comment section below. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out the link to the Patreon. That is also located in the description of this video as well. Those that have joined the Patreon are located here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It does mean the world to me. Those that have been part of the Patreon do get specific perks. One of the perks that the Patreon supporters get is that as we do our playthroughs, Colin and I will put them out for them usually about a day or two early without commercial interruptions. Also, as we progress through our campaign games, we give the Patreon supporters a way of voting on what we should do with our characters, how we should equip them, what skills we should be going towards, so that they have a chance of being able to interact with the games that we play on the channel. So there you go. Thanks again for watching. And if you're excited to see what Colin and I have coming up next, then I need you to meet me at the table.